Found a problem today. I noticed that it seemed like it had a little bit of more of a skip to it, and of course I still get that lack of adequate power problem in certain situations. So I know I've got, possibly several issues going on here, but one obvious thing that came to light today got a fuel leak squirting out right there on that injector line. So obviously that cylinder is not getting full pressure. That injector is not getting its full pressure, so I'm going to see if I can tighten that. Got a lot of diesel washing down the back of the side of the pump there. It's hitting the looks like it's squirting off of the engine block, so it looks like the backside's got a leak too. So this pump's leaking pretty bad. It's not good. I mean, it could be, obviously there's 6 of these bolts going around. So could be another one on the backside that's loose. I can see it back there. That could be loose. Or it could be the actual, whatever it is that causes it to seal. So for starters, I'm going to get the right size wrench and see if any of these are loose. Alright, I tightened that up. It maybe moved in 1/16 of a turn. So I don't have much hope in that being enough to keep that from leaking, but let's see. Hey, it stopped the leak. Still got a leak on the backside there though somewhere. At least I stopped the one on the front. You hear that almost like a mist to it. Try infrared thermometer. Degrees on that cylinder. That one's pretty low. 116. 2. Oh, that one, 180. Actually, they all seem pretty even within each other, temperature-wise, so it's not like any one cylinder's really dropped out. The rear cylinders are definitely hotter. Rear cylinders are definitely hotter. Well, I got some tree stumps I want to move with the loader and a couple other things I want to get done. So I definitely don't want to go through the trouble of taking this injector pump off right now. I'm going to just live with that leak for now. Well, it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, and there's actually a few snowflakes flying right now. The high today was only about 39. The overnight lows are getting down
plenty cold enough that I want to start being a little concerned about the coolant, or lack of coolant, or lack of antifreeze to be more specific, that is probably in this motor right now. I know when I originally was looking at this machine down in the woods, down in the back of the farm, that what I saw in there for coolant, oh yeah, it's got that smell. It's kind of hard to describe, but you know that sweet smell you get with antifreeze? It's kind of a rank smell. Old antifreeze. So I just drove it over here, so it's a little warm. So we'll see if we can't drain this thing off. Oh yeah, and this injection pump's still leaking, so I've decided I'm gonna go ahead and make the move and pull the pump and see if I can't repair it myself, which some of you watching right now are probably cringing just at the thought of me tackling a fuel injection pump. But rest assured you, I did some research ahead of time and looked at a couple of service manuals for pumps by Rooster Master that were very similar to this series, specifically like the DB2 series pump. And I feel confident that I think I can reseal this pump and stop the leaks without destroying it. So there you go. Alright, but meanwhile, back to the coolant. Huh, how do you like them apples? Let's see. We've got pipe going into the top metal of the radiator. And then we've got the pipe on the bottom here that actually goes into the bottom of the radiator, the very bottom of the radiator. So, interestingly enough though, on the bottom of the radiator there are no petcocks that I can see. Those little valves that you can open. So, the question is, how do you drain this? This comes over and goes into a T, but I just checked for a plug in the bottom there, and what actually this T goes down to is it goes down to a line that goes towards the rear, which I can almost guarantee you goes to right over here. That's this line right here. Comes up and goes to the oil cooler for the transmission, for the reversal torque. So, I can see that's a low point where that dip is in that hose. So I could disconnect the hose right there and pull it back down underneath and drain it that way, but that's going to be kind of a pain. I do see a square plug right here, and that's a low point. So I'm thinking that's the low point drain for the radiator for the cooling system. So just going to double check, make sure there's not something I'm missing on the other side. Now the only other drain I see is this one right here. But that's right in the T where the little sending unit or thermistor is, that probably is supposed to run up to the temp gauge when the temp gauge was hooked up and working, which actually it still is right here. It's not a thermistor, it's a regular mechanical thermocouple. So I'm thinking that might really not serve much purpose other than to bleed air from the system when you're refilling it. So I could start by opening that and seeing what drains out. Easier said than done. Alright, worked it a little bit with the channel locks, and now it turns. Ooh, look at that delicious stuff. Any idea what the color is of that? It's not even warm. Good thing the hydraulic tank's there. Otherwise I would have just sprayed myself. Some of that dirt is just what's washing off of the back of the hydraulic tank, but a lot of it is just actually what the coolant looked like in there, if you can believe it. It's pretty nasty. Yuck! If I can get a little closer so you can get a good look at the color of that stuff. Think it was overdue or what? Well, this is done draining. Mud bath, anyone? Now I gotta get that plug out on the other side. It's a 7/16 inch plug. And boy, is it tight. You can tell that hasn't been out in a long time. So I have to go grab a little, see if I can get a pipe in there to give me some more leverage. well, it's extra tight, and I can't get the pipe in there to give me leverage from the top because of the alternator being in the way here. And then if I try and do it at an angle, the loader arm's in the way, which I could start it and raise the loader, but I'd rather not start it even for a short period of time without coolant in it, because I don't want it to be hot when I start flushing it with cold water. And then it's just too tight for me to get it this way. See if I can get underneath there and get all the leverage I can with my arm. Of course, this is a real knuckle buster if this slips off, which I got a feeling it's gonna do. Nope, that ain't happening. It's just too tight. I mean, it's probably been a lot of years since that's been removed. So I think I'm gonna go with plan B, which is I'm gonna drop this coolant line off right here, because I can get to this clamp easy enough, loosen the clamp and pull that line off. And then I think I've got enough clearance down there and below, between the motor and the frame rail here, to easily get that pipe through. Yeah, that'll be a piece of cake. It'll drop right down and through here and right into a bucket.